Yeah, welcome once again, child of God. This is part 2 of the mystery behind having strong praying partners. Now, I spent a bit of time talking about that from the marriage scenario. Now, if you're not married, partner with a friend. Partner with a friend, somebody who also wants also wants this, to have somebody, some kind of backup, partner with a friend. Ideally from your church, if you can find one, or a personal friend, somebody who is committed in what they do. It's very important to have that backup option, because sometimes you show up for prayer and then you fall asleep and you sleep throughout the whole night. If you have that structure there, for those of you who are not married, you that person who is committed and dedicated in prayer will always go there to pray. That's what the kind of person you're looking for. Not somebody who says, "Yeah, I'm going to pray," and then they always sleeping. You don't need that person. It has to be a person who is committed, dedicated, understands this thing I'm talking about, prayer. So that for whatever reason you try to pray, you fall asleep, your prayers will still go on, and you guys can come together and then write something, certain prayer points which you exchange. So at night time, you pray your prayer points and then pray those of your friend, so that, and both of you should be praying. That's the plan. Ideally, both of you should be praying every night. So, but in case one of you falls asleep for whatever reason, the other friend will be dealing with the prayer point you want them to deal with. So you guys can meet maybe every month, exchange prayer points every month. It's very important, And one of the things I've said is this: so far as the enemy of man, there's an enemy of man who is the enemy, the devil. He's an enemy of man. He hates us with a passion. So far as he's not dead, and is showing up every night, moving to and fro, planning, plotting, scheming, looking at who he may devour, you should also understand that every night there is a need to rise up in prayer. I'm telling you. Every night. Make sure you stop him before he stops you. Stop his plan, stop his plot, stop his strategies, stop whatever he's planning, even ahead of time, before he does it, because the enemy plans ahead of time. I'm telling you. We saw it in the scenario in the days of Moses. We saw what happened. Pharaoh killed a lot of children. We saw it in the same scenario. We saw how he didn't flinch to kill children just because he wants to make sure a man like Moses will not show up onto the scene. We saw it again at the birth of Jesus Christ. We saw it again. Pharaoh the king of that time didn't flinch to kill children just because he wants to make sure a man like Jesus will not show up. This is who he is. And if you look closely, about when the time when Jesus was prophesied about a coming king and a lot of things, if you look at some of the events that happened right to the time that Jesus Christ was born, you can see through it that the enemy was trying to do certain things to make sure this Jesus will never show up. So this is something I'm just sharing with you. It's something I'm living with you as we are stepping into 2025. I'm trying to put your mind in the right frame. putting your mind in the right frame. I'm telling you. So it's not only for married couples. If you have friends, you can come together and exchange praying points. You can do it monthly. So every month, you guys meet, you talk a little bit, you exchange certain prayer points that you pray for him and he also prays for you every day. It's every day. Every day, dedicated person, disciplined, dedicated person. I'm telling you. And you try it and see. Look at how things happen in your life. Now, talking about prayer. Now, that issue and problem a lot of believers have with prayer is affecting a lot of the Christian life of a lot of believers. Because no matter what addictions you are facing, you are dealing with, when a believer decides to get close to prayer activities, naturally, automatically, there's this disconnect between that addiction. I'm telling you. When you start getting closer to prayer, it doesn't matter what addiction you are connected to. When you truly, intentionally start getting closer to prayer, there is an automatic disconnection between you and that addiction. If you have I'm saying intentionally because there's a niche group of people who think we can pray and be doing whatever we want. There are a few people who have been deceived by the enemy. A few deceived by the enemy who think we can pray and still do the wrong thing. So, Christians, believers, children of God who have intentionally decided to get close to prayer, there is an automatic disconnection between you and that addiction that the enemy has been using to keep you away from growing spiritually. When you start getting closer to prayer, it means you have prepared your mind to grow spiritually. Very important. And the sad thing, 2024, December 29th, we have a high percentage of believers in the assembly of God that don't understand this basic principle about this kingdom. Basic principle. I don't know what's going on. When you start getting closer to prayer, things start changing, things start shifting. You see, when we come to prayer, anybody who comes to prayer with a clear mind, with a good intention, in truth, should also understand that. You see, the Bible tells us, is it Galatians chapter 6? No, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against principalities, powers, throne. It's not a human being doing those things. It's not your flesh that is going to deal with these things. Angels have to be dispatched from headquarters to go and deal with that issue. And every time any believer is petitioning the throne of God, there is this. And every time a Christian petitions the throne of God, there is this analysis that is run on you from the spirit realm. You are checked. You are scanned to check, okay, should we do it? Should we not do it? And the enemy is also there, raising concerns, raising objections, why the prayer is praying should not be answered. I'm telling you. So anybody that becomes intentional about prayer should also focus, should also be aware that the prayer you are praying also needs power. And when you come to, this is part 2, I'm going to come up with part 3.